Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far with the Kickoff Classic starting in just a couple of days time. There's been lots of talk about who should be the favourites coming into this event. FaZe and OpTic are the two big ones most people discuss, while FaZe have the #1 standing in most people's power rankings. OpTic, according to Temp, may well be the scarier team right now. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Tell the channel reach new people, and please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. First of all, this is breaking point because we talked a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday morning actually, that well, fantasy is here. If you guys want to get involved, do effectively a draft royale type thing, then it will click the link. I guess I'll leave a link down below once again. Now, anyway, the rules are you can only pick one player per team, $25, that type of stuff. Now, unfortunately, for whatever reason on Safari's so outdated that one of the things we're using to stop people selecting two players from the same team just doesn't work on Safari, and I think there might be a workaround we've managed to find, but I'm not involved in the tech stuff, so shout out to the rest of the guys figuring this out. But there was about 300 people that had selected a team that wasn't eligible to win. So if that was one of you, you should have got an email. It might be in your junk folder actually. But yeah, just check 100% that you didn't select two players from the same team, and then you'll be eligible. That type of good stuff. If you want to get involved, the link's down below. Deadline's due in a couple of days. This type of good stuff. Let's dive into some confirmations that came out yesterday. Then to LA Thieves, talent in our room just got deeper. Pentagram, the substitute player now for the Thieves. Some exciting stuff. I think Pentagram definitely one of the hottest prospects in that North American challenger scene the last couple of years or so, and it's just a good idea to have a good sub player on your bench, because if you look at Seattle Surge the last couple of years with Joey Nubsy on their bench, obviously that's not so ideal. Paris have done this thing as also with Theory on the bench. It's just not going to work. If you do need a sub, you don't really have a competent one, and also it doesn't mean that the starting players on your team feel the pressure, breathing down their neck, right? If you've got a great player on the bench, he's ready to go. When Simp was on the E United Cadets, the E United starting team had to always be looking over their shoulder thinking, okay, I've got to put it in the grind or Simp's going to take my spot. As to be fair, he probably would have done eventually anyway. But yeah, Pentagram joining Thieves, I think this is a good pickup. I do wonder whether we'll see him brought in right at some point, because at the end of the day, LA Thieves, they expect nothing but success. They expect nothing but #1. And well, if they can't achieve that, which of course is going to be difficult with the state of the league, then they might make some changes. They certainly did last year. And of course, Jacob is still there, right? And of course, we talked about that before. Substitute list so far, as Chrome points out. So FaZe have Rustini, Toronto have Hixie right now, Texas have, of course, General, that's OpTic, Yeezys on Florida, Sparta's on LAG, Pentagram on LA Thieves, Harry's going to be on London. The rest of the teams, as of right now, don't have anything officially confirmed. Probably Paris is going to be Theory once again, and maybe these other guys will pick someone up as the season begins to start. This also from Slack. I don't imagine he's going to be a sub anywhere, because he's just been doing content as of late, but maybe he signed a contract with some sort of organisation, so that is exciting stuff. Also, this from Paddy P. Very excited to see what this is, because Aix has talked about, okay, yes, he's now the co-host of the Flag, but there's something else going on. There's another chapter just around the corner that he's going to explore, and I guess this is the contract signing for that. So not sure what it's going to be, whether it's league related, whether it's organisation related, what this could be, but well, definitely excited to see what Patty Pete decides to do next. This also, as Chrome points out, the competitive settings have been updated to V1.2. Nothing really all that much changed here, but control settings have been added, and ahead of this weekend's, Gavatu and Tuscan are going to be played. So the confirmation comes through that, yes, despite the pros not particularly liking the state of control, it is going to be played this weekend. Makes sense, really. It's a kickoff event. You've got to try it out. And of course, there's only 2 maps in play. This is quite incredible, right? We talked quite a lot before the season began that, okay, there's 16 maps in this game. Surely we can find some good ones. But we go into the season with just 4 search and destroy maps, 4 hardpoint maps, and 2 control maps. So obviously less than ideal. And there's also the question as to what exactly you do with the vetoes. But as Rambo says, beyond the potential issues we encounter, haven't encountered them all ourselves, control plays it pretty well on these 2 maps. Definitely worth playing this weekend if possible. Of course, there is the question, all right, what do you do from a veto perspective? More than likely, the team with the higher seeds probably just gets to pick what one they play out of those 2. Probably might not make the biggest difference at the end of the day. But yeah, probably the higher seeded squad just picks the map. Whereas back in the day, one team bans, you play the one that's left over. But in fairness, there was only 3 control maps last year. There's now just 2 this year. People said there was a lack of map variety last year, frankly, at the control side. Definitely going to get that this time around in spades. So interesting stuff. But let's dive into this, right? Because as Kenny's talking about, and a lot of the pros are considering right now, well, who are the biggest rivals that these teams have going into the new year? Kenny says Los Angeles Guerrillas from the LA Thieves side certainly makes sense, because despite LAG having a miserable record last year, LAT did not beat them one time. They were 3-0 LAG against LA Thieves last year. So that's definitely, I guess, where they want their revenge. But lots of talk about how things are sitting right at the top of the standings. As aBeZy says, I'd break the game if I was in the NBA. But of course, look, loads of talented players on FaZe. Pretty sure every single coach in the coach power rankings put FaZe at #1 and OpTic at #2, which makes sense, right? OpTic are obviously very strong, but no one can really look past FaZe based on last year, and also also going into this year as well. But in another one of these interviews that came out on the Breaking Point channel last night, I'm pretty sure there's like 5 or 6 of them up there now. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave it all linked down below. But it was a fantastic discussion really I had with Temp here, and towards the end we talked about his top 5 teams. And he again agrees that, yeah, okay, yes, FaZe number 1, OpTic number 2 definitely makes sense on paper, but from his perspective, playing them in scrims, OpTic have actually been the scarier team as of late.
I would say FaZe number 1. Just because, you want me to give reason why or no?
Feel free.
Okay, FaZe just because they just dominated last year. They're still really, really good. I'll put OpTic number 2, just because they've actually probably been playing the best in scrims in my eyes. Like all the teams we play, like they play us harder than FaZe does. But I still have to give it to FaZe just because of just what they've accomplished as a team, you know. So I would say them top 2. Who is 3? And Hardpoint Seattle. And Hardpoint Seattle's top 5 for sure. Who's else? Seattle. Who are the other teams? Seattle. London. London is in my top 4 right now. I don't know what it is. They're probably like the hardest. I don't know. Afro is disgusting. They're one of the hardest teams to play. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll fry at the kickoff, you know what I'm saying? They're playing very, very well right now. I feel like they have good teamwork, they have a good system and all that. So I'm very impressed by them just because I didn't really know about them. I just don't know their players, you know, other than Trey and Afro. I just don't know Nasty and Gizmo, but I feel like they're clicking right now. So like it's really caught me off guard, and I'm excited to see how they play. Out of the teams we've played, it would have to probably be LAG.
So this is the power rankings that CDL Scrim Intel does, actually rather similar to what the coaches came out with, so I thought I'd just bring it up for you guys. And I thought it was interesting really what Temp had to say. So yes, okay, FaZe OpTic, no surprises there. Once again, he brings Seattle into the mix. And well, his 4th team actually I thought was really cool because no one else mentioned to me London being like a potential top 5 team. But he reckons that London are causing him a lot of issues. He shouted at Afro specifically being really talented. He wasn't really sure on his 5th team. I think he put LAG in there eventually. But there's definitely some others up for discussion. He mentioned just after I cut off the clip, the Minnesota Rokkr. They're pretty good as well. But yeah, interesting really that, okay, FaZe, they might be theoretically the most dominant team. They've probably looked the best in scrims so far. OpTic, at least for Paris, they seem to be the scarier squad, right? He reckons that in scrims, OpTic give them a harder time than FaZe do, which is quite interesting. Of course, it is just hardpoint, and generally OpTic have been a pretty good hardpoint team over time. But then again, this year, with the team that OpTic have, like they should also be pretty good at search and destroy, right? Scump was phenomenal in that game mode last year. You've got Dashy still there, you've got Illy still there, you've got Shotzi, like, so it shouldn't be bad at search by any means. FaZe, of course, have that kind of X factor in every single mode, and also FaZe's control last year was stellar. That's really where FaZe separated themselves, in my opinion. That if it was a 1-1 game going into game 3, they would almost always win the control, and that really set themselves up for success, right? If they're up 2-0, they'd close out the series no problem. They had so many 3-0 sweeps last year. Now, this year, with the way control is, could things be slightly different? Could FaZe not be quite so dominant in that mode? If it is more randomized, like, will that bring FaZe down a pecking order, I suppose, to some degree? And OpTic are obviously there and thereabouts. Most people say, yes, they're really napping on FaZe's heels right now, and the exciting thing is they are on opposite sides of the brackets, so if they do all make it through at the Kickoff Classic, there is going to be a FaZe versus OpTic final that is on the cards this weekend. Some very exciting stuff. Few things to mention as we close out the video. He won 3 rings, but this is his greatest challenge yet. So the Crimsix, I'm pretty sure this happened quite a while ago now, with that they were kind of roasting Crimsix or whatever. We saw a couple of clips from this, but you know, just wanted to shout out good content when I see it, to be honest. Speaking of Crimsix, though, he did tweet this out yesterday, because this I thought was quite remarkable. Like, we mentioned Microsoft Xbox, all that thing that was going on this morning. Now, Bobby Kotick is going to get kicked out of there eventually when the transition fully does come through in, we believe, June of 2023 sometime, or maybe slightly earlier than that. Now, I don't know how this guy could possibly have finessed this, like, into his contract or whatever, but when he gets kicked out, if there is a termination or change of control for Bobby Kotick, for pretty much whatever reason, he makes, at the very minimum, $250 million. So I'm like, how has he possibly managed to swindle this? Especially just because it's kind of frustrating, this particular figure, because, I mean, first of all, it's just outrageous. But $250 million pretty much encompasses the entire $300 million that all the 12 teams paid, $25 million each pretty much, to get into the league. So pretty much all that cash just goes straight to Bobby's pockets. So it's like, okay, we have a $300 million league, but how much of it actually goes to doing something productive, right? Rather than just, you know, this guy's already worth, like, he's already a billionaire. Like, I just don't understand. So Crimsix is like, what is this about? You can only just shake your head at some of this stuff sometimes, to be honest. And, well, this also from Turtle I thought was incredible, because we talked about LA Thieves, right, going into the upcoming season. This is a quite remarkable stat. Like, their last 2 years have been woeful. Overall record, like thanks to the stats here, 13 in 44 the last couple of years. But remarkably, the only team they're undefeated against is LA Thieves. They beat them 3-0 last year. For there was 3 of their 8 series victories came against Thieves last year, so kind of incredible. Now, of course, they actually beat FaZe right last year. They beat Ultra once last year as well. But most of the other teams they got dominated by. Mutineers, they were 0-6 against, like OpTic 0-2, Subliners 0-4. So I mean, the last 2 years have been shambolic for Los Angeles Guerrillas. Maybe this year will be slightly better for them, I guess. Theoretically, they have upgraded their team. This also wanted to shout out Toronto because, of course, well, a lot of teams have been doing content. I know that FaZe have been doing really well on Instagram, especially. I think they have the biggest Instagram account out of the Call of Duty franchises. And on TikTok, not a platform I use, but apparently Ultra have been doing really well over there. In terms of all esports organizations in 2021, Toronto Ultra was the 9th most viewed. So impressive stuff, honestly. And just cool to see these organizations getting themselves out there, doing things on different platforms that we might not always get the opportunity to see. And just to finish out with this nice clip really here from Slasher from the Los Angeles Guerrillas side. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in a like button. Tell the YouTube gods this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
It's not trailing me. I got one. He's in time front. He went stairs up. Yeah, he trailed me. Thanks. He's pushed up. Nice. There's a kid gate. He's trailing you.
Mid. Wow. Let's just be one.
Gate on me, weak.
Coming street. Stun gate.
I have 5 bullets.
Stun him.
I need help.
I'm gonna help you left.
ASD.
Clip that stream, please.
Bank shed.
Oh my god.
Johnny's
In the back of me?
He's in time. I'm in barn. Yeah, Johnny's pushed up.
One shot in the back, big.
I didn't What's top barn?